Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Oh, what a lovely day indeed. Fury Road is the latest installment in the post-apocalyptic Mad Max franchise. It hits the ground running and rarely ever stops. The film opens with Max being captured by a strange, cult-like society led by a charismatic zealot named Immortan Joe. Max gets dragged along on a frantic car chase as Joe attempts to capture a former follower of his named Furiosa. Furiosa has freed several what Joe called his prime breeders, and Joe will stop at nothing to get them back. If you haven't seen a Mad Max film before, don't worry. This film is very self-contained, and you don't need to know anything about the previous films to get this one. The plot of the film is a bit light, but its focus on strong characterization more than makes up for it. Tom Hardy stars as Max, taking over from Mel Gibson. Hardy gives a subtle and subdued performance similar to Gibson's. Max is dealing with the horrific memories of his past, and Hardy does an excellent job portraying him as a fractured and damaged person. He has to fight throughout the film to regain his humanity. Hardy is excellent and a perfect fit for Max. Charlize Theron plays the badass female lead, Furiosa. Despite Max being the title character, Theron really steals the show here, turning in one of the best performances of her career. Furiosa is a badass woman that belongs right up there with classic characters like Ellen Ripley and Sarah Connor. Like Max, her arc has her seeking redemption for her past. She runs an emotional and physical gamut that few actors could have pulled off. Nicholas Hoult gives one of the most unique performances of his career as crazed cultist Nux. Nux is devoted to Immortan Joe, but is an extremely naive and likable figure. He manages to steal quite a few scenes from co-stars Theron and Hardy, which is no small feat. His conflict provides some of the film's best emotional moments. This comes along with him also providing the occasional unhinged comedic relief. He also has excellent screen chemistry with everyone in the cast. The film is not complete without insane despot Immortan Joe, played by Hugh Byron. This character is chilling and genuinely disturbing in this film. He too has little dialogue, but every word he says counts. Byron also played the main villain Toe Cutter in the original Mad Max film. That character was also rather unhinged, but Joe is a far more interesting character. He even has some powerful emotional moments in the film. The rest of the cast is great, and I won't go too far into them, except to say that Rosie Huntington-Whiteley and Nathan Jones give what are probably the best performances of their careers. Now let's talk about the real star of the film, the action. This is probably the best action film in recent years. The film is structured like one long car chase, and it works unbelievably well. The pacing is superb, and the action perfectly placed. The use of hard effects and stunts are especially impressive. Apart from the big sandstorm featured in the trailers, there appears to be very little CG used in this film. The designs for the vehicles are outstandingly diverse. Each is unique and varied in design. The character and costume design are also amazing. Everyone is vivid and interesting looking. Some of the more outlandish characters look like nothing I've ever seen on film before. Thematically, this may be the strongest film in the franchise yet. Each of the Mad Max films has dealt with the collection and preservation of resources. In this film, the reason Immortan Joe is so powerful is that he controls most of the resources. He controls the water, gas, food, and ammunition. He's seeking to retrieve the one resource he could not control: life. The resource here is the women themselves. They represent the promise of the future, and Joe wants to control and shape that future. The film also deals with the ramifications of living in a post-apocalyptic world. Disease, mutations, and deformities are everywhere in this world. The women represent a purity that is so scarce that it is more valuable than the precious water and fuel that dominated the previous films. The film also has a running theme of female empowerment that goes beyond Furiosa being one of the most badass characters to be featured on screen in years. Director George Miller has really outdone himself this time. This ranks among the best films he's ever made. I really hope he manages to make the sequels he plans. I give Mad Max Fury Road a 9 out of 10. A must-see if you're a fan of action films. This film definitely does the franchise justice. Mad Max Fury Road is now playing in theaters.